I started working with a new creative director. I had sort of been like praying over this. Like I was like, oh, I need like send me the person. Like I had lost, it was interesting, January 4th, a year ago. So January 4th, 2023, the person who had sort of been my right-hand person in business resigned after 5 years, very unexpectedly. And, I
Wow.
say very unexpectedly, but I
Mm-hmm.
knew. I
Mm-hmm.
knew. I knew it was coming. I blurred a lot of lines. I learned so much as a leader. And change is hard. And I knew I was changing. I was changing out of her. She was growing out of me. And I don't think anybody wanted to have the conversation. So we were just
Right.
like covering up the conversation. Then one day she's like, I got a job. I'm leaving. And I'm like, okay. So here I am on January 4th, 2023, like, okay. It's me, myself, and I. And obviously, I've got some contractors that work for me and people that make up the
Right.
the larger scope of my team, but that like internal person, that one person
Yeah.
that's kind of like your right-hand woman, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, let me pray over this because there is someone I have my eye on. And all actually, this is a pretty interesting story. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, actually, this will come back to hollering at your dreams and
Okay.
doing it on stage because sometimes we need people from the outside to help us pick up what's lying dormant on the inside. I don't know about you, but like introducing yourself or writing about yourself or
Oh,
like doing your own website or editing your videos. You're like, I can't stand myself. Can someone please? You know what I mean? So it's
I'm
just
looking for that
hard.
person. So yes, I know.
Yes. It's
Mm-hmm.
so hard. She resigned on January 4th, but all December 2022, so literally a year ago December, I was like, okay, here's what it's going to cost to bring this person on. I had already kind of opened the door. I knew what the fee was per month, like the monthly stipend. And so I was like, all right, bring, if it is meant to be, bring it into my life, praying, crystal source. I live up in Arizona, like give me all the woo, but of course, deeply connected to my face. So I just prayed over this number. And lo and behold, that person resigns on January 4th, and her base was the exact amount I had been praying over.
Oh, wow.
So I say, well, interesting way of catching my attention and giving me what I want. This is not how I thought it was going to look out because I
Right.
had no one. I was like now on my own. This is the person I had handed over the key. My old person was like the person I had handed over the keys to my kingdom. Like she
Right.
ran my business. And so here I am like ground floor, and the woman I brought into the business um was the same amount like per month. And so I said,
Wow.
okay, now I got my answer. So
Wow.
divinely aligned, this group comes in and we start getting to know each other. And we're here in my office at my house. And tell me about Judi as a kid. What were you doing when you were 8? All this, opening of files, folders, books, like getting to know me so much as a person. They're like, hold on. So you mean to tell me your last name is Holler? You love to rap. You actually can rap. You do poetry. You perform spoken word.
Mm-hmm.
And you are doing that in public anywhere? Like, we might need to change that.
So you were just
And
doing it like in your bedroom
it was
or
kind
where?
of like this secret
Yeah.
thing. I
Yeah.
think she was starting to come out a little bit in like 2019 and maybe early
Mm.
2020, but the world changed so much.
Yeah.
And I got so afraid, and cancel culture and just
Mm.
how the
Oh,
world just, I thought, how dare I? How could I? And oh my God, I'm just going to sit here and hide and keep
wow.
my little virtual bookings and keep this corporate
Mm-hmm.
machine going. I make my living as a keynote speaker. I have to play the game right. How dare I? How could I ever say what I really wanted to say, do what I
Right.
really wanted to say, be
Right.
who I really wanted to be? Could I holler at this dream? I don't know. No way. I'd get canceled in 5 seconds. So I hid. Fear was not my homeboy
Wow.
for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
I fear had me in a chokehold in not a good way. And so bringing these women that are actually from the fashion space, completely outside of the
Wow.
keynote speaking world, real true creatives and artists. And I work with the graffiti artists, like just bringing these people from the outside sort of helped me wake up where I am today. And that is how the work I'm now doing got onto a keynote stage, because this group of women, one specifically, shout out Sage, pushed me to do it in public. She's like, I
Wow.
need you to rap on your Instagram. This was like April of last year. She goes, I'm going to need you to do is I'm going to need you to rap on your Instagram. And I'm
Wow.
like,
Talk about pushing you out of
talk
your
about
comfort zone.
pressure being a good thing. I talk about this in my keynote, this notion of, how do you think diamonds are made? Diamonds are made because pressure is applied. And I think so many of us want to
High heat.
avoid.
High
Yeah,
heat.
like high heat, baby. Like
Yeah.
so many of us want to avoid pressure. Like we think it's supposed to be easy.
No, no.
And
I
it
know what
doesn't
you
mean you
mean.
can't have ease in your life because maybe you're going through, I have a girlfriend who's going through a deep trauma right now and a deep loss. So the pressure that high achiever needs to apply in her life right now is rest
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
turning off the noise. And that is pressure for a high achiever. Sometimes for
Right.
me, just taking a walk and turning it off and taking a
Mm-hmm.
day off is pressure. Like
Mm-hmm.
holding myself to the discipline of just being in my life, right? That is still pressure. So I don't know,
Yeah.
dreams need deadlines. And they started giving me deadlines for all of my dreams and saying, by Friday, you're going to post a rap. By Saturday, you're going to the
Wow.
poetry slam. By Sunday, you're going to do this, like, right? So
Wow.
I think we don't have to do it alone. And I think,
Mm.
really looking around you and investing in the right people to help you bring
Mm.
it all together is just a beautiful thing to be able to do. But that's kind of how it started. It's like a
Yeah.
really big loss of a team
Mm-hmm.
member turned into one of the biggest gifts I ever got in my life.